So obviously, the best way to get good at jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu, right? There's no two ways to argue about that, right? The more mat time you have, the better. But the reason I started using one of these, a stability ball or a gym ball, or whatever yoga ball you call it, doesn't really matter the ball. And it doesn't really matter what size it is either. Any kind of ball that you can use to practice your movement on is a great tool, and I'll give you some examples in a second. But I started using this because I'd come to class early, and you come 10-15 minutes, and typically what happens, right, one person sits in the corner over there, another person sits over there, maybe you chat a little bit. So whether you use this, or you just drill with someone, those 10-15 minutes, if you do that 3 times a week, that's an extra hour a week, right? Then it's an extra 4 hours a month, then that's an extra, whatever that is, over a year, right? So a lot of extra classes that you're getting in. But I use this tool particularly because, I haven't always got a partner, and I'm quite often in my house in the morning, I'll just move around on it. And it's a very, very good tool to replicate kind of the hip pressure. You've been talking about pressure passing, so I've been talking about pressure passing. So, I'm driving in with my hips here, and as I move around, if I don't have my weight on the ball, as I move around, I'm just going to fall off. Yeah. And I think a big habit that people have, particularly at lower belts, is the body if you fly down here, is I'm talking about pressure in any division really. But right at the moment, okay, inside into a grip, my weight is mostly being carried by my knees and my elbows. Now if I take my knees off the floor, it's a little bit more weight. But if I start adjusting my weight here and sinking down, and then brother, breathe out and I relax, sinking further and further, and all my weight is maximised on one spot. You're okay? Yeah. You're going to be right in the face. And it's very similar with this kind of tool as well, right? Where I can literally practice. I can just be chilling out and relaxing, and I'm just practicing sinking into the ball, and you can feel kind of the ball expand. So just simple stuff like that, even at the end of the workout, just practicing how you place your weight. But more important, you can do little games and little drills where I'm going to move around. I'm not going to use my hands on the floor, but I'm going to maintain hip contact. It'll be the front or the back of the hips. My hips are always in contact with the ball. You can move around 360, and you can do similar things with the shoulders. So the shoulder will anything across the shoulder line, the chest or the back is always in contact with the ball, and try to move all the way around. You can't touch the floor. And then the more that you practice these movements, you can experiment. You can do stuff where I'm just doing kind of drills, I'm balancing. It's like someone's trying to sweep you. When someone tries to sweep you, you get used to that kind of hip movement. So Richard tries to, if you go down to one guard maybe, I'm trying to pull me forward and then you can sweep. It's just like natural reaction, right? I always want to look good but it trains those movements that you're not really thinking about then. You just automatically do those kind of movements to maintain the position. So it's a great tool. I use it a lot of hold, and I did this morning actually. Just 5-10 minutes, you can use it part of your warm-up, part of your cool-down. You can go as fast as you want, you can go as slow as you want. That's never going to get tired. You try moving around that constantly for 5 minutes and experiment with different kind of movements. I've got about 50 or 60 set moves that I do. But breathe as well. It's a really great tool for practicing the breathing where as I move around, I'm always nose breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the nose as much as possible. But you're much more in a relaxed state then, rather than breathing from the top of the chest. You become tense. You use more energy, but psychologically you're in fight or flight, so you're not thinking as clearly. But what I was going to say about the breathing is you can keep moving around and use the intensity of your breathing to control your movements. And you just keep going. When you feel like, okay, my breathing is coming too hard, I feel like I need to breathe through my mouth. So I'm moving quickly, I'm moving around. I'm breathing feels heavy, but I'll pause in a strong, stable position, like say on a cycling rope, and just gather my breathing and then it's an amazing tool actually. I think the more you use it, you'll find yourself, you'll be rolling, and you'll do something, and you'll go, I didn't even think about that. And it comes as a natural reaction. So for me, I love this, one of the most underrated tools, I think. Answer?
Yeah. So you mentioned only breathing in and out through your nose. Is that you never breathe through your mouth, or is that the goal?
It's not that you never breathe through your mouth. I try to avoid it as much as possible. There's going to be certain times when it becomes very intense that maintaining nose breathing is going to be, too much of a stress on the system. But about 70 to 80% of the time, I try to focus on nose breathing as much as possible. And it's when you nose breathe, you typically breathe more from the bottom of the lungs and the diaphragm, and you use a lot more of the lungs to get the oxygen in. And when you mouth breathe, you breathe from the top of the chest. So it's not 100% of the time, but most of the time, trying to focus in and into the nose and out through the nose.
Is it mostly you're trying to focus on the diaphragm or up here? Okay.
Yeah. I do as much as you can from the diaphragm. And it becomes your practice. This is a good way to practice it. And it's all well and good when you do it during warm-ups, but then when suddenly someone's trying to choke you, you start forgetting about your breathing, right? Panic sets in, and you're in that fight or flight. I by no means am I perfect in terms of the way that I do it. It's still an evolution and a learning process for me. But it's that I think it's more efficient in terms of a breathing mechanic, but I think there's a psychological effect that comes from it as well. You're taking your mind out of that fight or flight and being more relaxed and more focused on what's going on in the fight and the process of that fight, rather than necessarily, I've got to win. And that's at least personally for me, different people have different views, but it's something that works quite well for me and I focus a lot on.
Is there a trick to controlling your breathing? Because sometimes I get carried away when I'm rolling and I start breathing really heavy. And I notice it after when I'm super gassed and I don't know. During the roll, is there something you try to keep in mind?
Focus as much on the diaphragm as possible. There's one thing I like to focus on though, and it's rather than necessarily the breathing, it's just relaxing my face, losing the smile off my face, or the grimace on my face. And it sounds counterintuitive. You see so many people there that get hold of something and then do this, and you start carrying all this tension, which brings tension into the chest and the rest of the body. But if I relax my face, everything else down the chain seems to relax for me as I kind of move and flow around. So that's one thing I like to focus on. And the other thing that I like to focus on, this is more to recover, if you find yourself going getting out of breath, is I call it a dump valve breath. So the signal to breathe in is to do with carbon dioxide, right? The build-up of carbon dioxide in our body. But carbon dioxide is also essential in our body's ability to uptake the oxygen that's coming into our body, right? So I'm not going on a tangent, but there's a point to it. So what I do is call it a dump valve breath. I either breathe out through the nose or out through the mouth in the situation, it depends. But it's a short, sharp, just kind of 3 breaths out, and a little bit of a pause, like a second or 2, and then just leave the natural breath kind of come back in. The natural reflex of the diaphragm is going to breathe in for you, and that, I call it a dump. Do you know what a dump valve is? Maybe it's a UK thing, right? It's when you hear those cars and people change gear and it dumps all the pressure out of the car and it makes it go faster. I don't know, maybe I'm not even a car person, but I use that analogy. But what you're doing is you're taking the pressure off the system by dumping some of that carbon dioxide, and then as you pause, it allows a little bit of carbon dioxide to build up again, which is then makes the body more efficient at taking on the oxygen. But I find that doing that 2 or 3 times, relax, and even that breath come in 2 or 3 times is a great way to reset and recover breathing. So they're the 2 things I would focus on, other than just practice and coming into a class of being, I'm going to focus on my breathing today.
Cool.
That help?
Yeah.
Sorry guys, I've hijacked the class, but hopefully there's some value in that.
Absolutely. How do you push stop?
Yeah, there's a big red button.